The Lord of the Rings universe is about to make a colossal return. In 2026, we're being thrust back into Middle-earth with the hunt for Gollum. Viggo Mortensen has been approached to reprise his iconic role as Aragorn alongside Ian McKellen as Gandalf, Andy Serkis as Gollum, and Orlando Bloom has also expressed interest in returning as Legolas. But here's the catch. This movie will take place before the main events of the Fellowship of the Ring and will overlap with the early days of the journey. So what does that mean? It means these actors, 26 years older than when they first showed up on the screen as our beloved characters, have to convincingly step back in time. And that's where the problem lies. How will they make them look like they did in 2001? Will technology save the day, or will it lead to a digital disaster? And will relying heavily on the original actors be a success or potentially hinder the movie from success? For Lord of the Rings fans, the connection to the characters isn't just emotional, it's visual. Aragorn isn't just a character, he's Viggo Mortensen in his prime, the rugged noble warrior that won our hearts. Fans have lived with these characters for decades, and the thought of seeing them altered even slightly could shatter that magical bond. This isn't just about de-aging an actor, this is about capturing the very soul of the character and ensuring that continuity remains intact. With the hunt for Gollum set before the Fellowship of the Ring and running parallel to it, it's essential that Aragorn looks like he did in 2001. Anything else risks breaking the immersion. The question now is, how can they achieve that in 2026? Enter the world of de-aging. In recent years, filmmakers have turned to digital wizardry to rewind the clock for their stars. But the question remains, is it enough to capture the essence of Aragorn without losing what made him legendary? Let's take a look at some of the history of this technology and where it worked and where it definitely didn't work. The first attempts at de-aging were, to put it mildly, rough. Remember X-Men: The Last Stand from 2006? The digital makeup was clumsy and jarring, as if the characters were trapped in a strange, uncanny void. Then came Tron Legacy in 2010, which tried to digitally de-age Jeff Bridges. The result? Well, his CGI likeness resembled a cartoon, pretty far from the real thing. But thankfully, technology has come a long way since then. In Rogue One in 2016, the digital resurrection of Grand Moff Tarkin marked a major leap forward. This was no ordinary de-aging effort, as it required recreating the late Peter Cushing entirely through CGI. Filmmakers brought the character back as he appeared in Star Wars: A New Hope in 1977. The result was groundbreaking, yet not without its flaws. At times, his face seemed lifeless, his movements slightly unnatural, but despite these limitations, Rogue One set a new standard for what digital effects could achieve. Enter deepfake technology, a game changer in theory. Imagine creating a younger Aragorn by having AI digitally replace Viggo Mortensen's face with a youthful version. This technology reached a high point in the Star Wars show The Book for Boba Fett, where a young Luke Skywalker reappeared. This was after his first appearance in Season 2 of The Mandalorian was quite jarring, and Lucasfilm actually hired a deepfake expert from YouTube who perfected Luke for The Book of Boba Fett. And seeing a younger Mark Hamill was breathtaking, yet it wasn't perfect. His eyes and facial expressions had an uncanny quality, the result a mix of awe and unease. It's a reminder that while deepfakes hold immense potential, the line between success and eeriness remains thin. In a more extreme example, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny from 2023 used deepfake technology to digitally de-age Harrison Ford. The results were also quite jarring. The CGI was so overdone that Ford's face looked unnatural, almost cartoonish. This is the risk of using too much deepfake technology, a potential disconnect from the real human essence of the character. Would this really be the right choice for Aragorn? Before we continue the jarring journey of de-aging and when it was actually used successfully, we've got a quick message from today's sponsor, Displate. Displate offers unique metal posters that are perfect for showcasing your passions. Whether you're into Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Marvel, or something totally different, Displate has you covered with over 2 million artworks to choose from. And mounting? It's ridiculously easy and perfect if you're worried about damaging your walls or upsetting your landlord. Each Displate comes with a magnet kit. No tools, no drilling, no mess. Just stick the magnet to your wall, attach the poster, and you're all set. And if you want to switch it up, no problem, just swap out the poster while the magnet stays in place. It's frustration-free and completely safe for your walls. Displate's newest innovation, Textra, takes metal posters to the next level. These premium designs feature tactile textures, 3D contours, and a combination of matte and gloss finishes, that truly makes the artwork stand out. And the best part, Displate offers fast delivery so you can get your new posters within just 4 to 5 business days. So whether you're exploring the Shire, a galaxy far far away, or somewhere in between, Displate has something for you. And if you click the discount link in the description below or use our code MEU at checkout, you can get 22% off 1 to 2 Displates or 27% off if you buy 3 or more. Thank you very much to Displate for sponsoring the video. Continuing on the topic of deepfakes and de-aging, there's a couple of examples of when it was actually used successfully, such as in Captain Marvel from 2019. In this case, Samuel L. Jackson's young Nick Fury was achieved through a combination of digital face smoothing and motion capture, allowing Jackson to perform as his younger self while a digital layer gave him a youthful appearance. While the results were impressive, it's important to note that even with this technology, there was a subtle difference in the way the characters moved, almost as if they were digitally enhanced but not quite perfect. The Irishman from 2019 is another prime example of de-aging being used to great effect. The director worked with a team to digitally de-age Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci, creating an incredibly convincing portrayal of their younger selves. What made the de-aging in The Irishman so successful was that it didn't just focus on the looks. The technology also took into account preserving the actors' ability to act and express themselves in a way that felt organic. Despite some minor hiccups, The Irishman proved that with the right application, de-aging could work seamlessly to capture both the physical appearance and the emotional depth of an actor. And while we're talking about that, de-aging doesn't just stop at facial features, it also must account for how a character moves. A 40-year-old man moves differently from a 65-year-old man. In fact, it's not just about looking younger, it's about recreating the very essence of what made that character feel young and dynamic. This is where de-aging can often falter. No matter how convincing the digital face might be, if their actors' movement aren't quite right, the illusion is shattered. The way they run, fight, or even carry themselves, it all contributes to the authenticity of the character. Aragorn was a warrior, fast, agile, and able to leap into battle at a moment's notice. But at 65, Viggo Mortensen is undeniably older, and his body has changed. This is where the challenge truly lies. Fortunately, there's a shining example of Mortensen's physical ability in his most recent Western film, The Dead Don't Hurt from 2023. In it, Mortensen plays a character that, despite his age, remains incredibly nimble, showing that his physical abilities have not faded. This proves that he can still embody the same level of action and intensity needed for Aragorn's role, but even with this evidence of Mortensen's continued physical prowess, it's important to acknowledge that some of the scenes may simply require more than what an actor of his age can do. And this is where stunt doubles come into play. While Viggo is known for doing his own stunts, the reality is that there's only so much an actor can do, especially as they grow older. The Hunt for Gollum will likely have some physically demanding sequences, and while Viggo is more than capable of handling many of them by himself, there will be moments when a stunt double will be necessary to ensure the safety and maintain the level of action required for Aragorn's character. Thankfully, stunt doubles can take on the riskier aspects of the role, while Viggo can focus on the more emotional and character-driven scenes. The combination of Viggo's still-present agility and the use of stunt doubles when needed will allow for a seamless portrayal of Aragorn that balances the actor's physicality with the demands of action-heavy scenes. The result will be an Aragorn who feels both timeless and authentic to the original portrayal without relying too heavily on digital tricks. Viggo Mortensen may have aged, but if you've seen him in recent films or watched him in interviews, it's clear that he hasn't lost the essence of the character that he brought to life. His movements remain remarkably agile, his charisma and energy still intact. Sure, his physical appearance has changed with time, but what makes him stand out is how little he's actually aged when it comes to the way he carries himself. His presence in movies or interviews reveals that the heart of Aragorn is still there, alive and well. To capture the true essence of Aragorn for the Hunt for Gollum, the best way forward would be to apply the techniques used in The Irishman and Captain Marvel. By combining digital face smoothing and motion capture, you can maintain the physical authenticity of Mortensen's performance while ensuring that the de-aging feels seamless. This would give us a young Aragorn without taking away from the raw emotional power of Viggo's performance. In the end, it's not about pretending time hasn't passed, it's about ensuring that the spirit of the character remains as strong as ever. Viggo still has what it takes to bring Aragorn back to life for the Hunt for Gollum, and the best way to do it is with a perfect blend of technology and talent. While Viggo's return as Aragorn is the most anticipated, there's also the question of how the rest of the iconic Lord of the Rings cast members will be brought back to life for the hunt for Gollum. Each actor's return presents unique challenges, but with careful consideration, each character can be faithfully recreated. For Gollum, Andy Serkis' legendary motion capture performance is timeless, and since his character relies fully on CGI, no de-aging is really necessary, even though he might need to use stunt doubles for some of Gollum's more extreme motion capturing, considering that Andy said that some of the scenes in The Hobbit was a bit tough for him, and that was over 10 years ago. At 85 years old, Ian McKellen's Gandalf will benefit from a subtle de-aging technique similar to what could be used for Viggo Mortensen. By limiting his screen time, McKellen can maintain Gandalf's commanding presence while minimizing the effects of aging on his character's appearance. And just as with Christopher Lee in The Hobbit, most of the physical scenes can be done with stunt doubles, whereas Ian could focus on dialogue and close-ups. Lee Pace's portrayal of Thranduil in The Hobbit was already regal and ageless. To maintain the Elven King's timeless look, only light digital touch-ups will be needed to smooth out any aging, ensuring that Lee's appearance remains consistent with his previous role. Orlando Bloom's face has changed more than some of his co-stars, so Legolas will need some heavier de-aging to make him look as young as in the original movies. This can involve a combination of facial enhancements, motion capture adjustments, and CGI to restore his youthful, agile look, while still preserving his performance. So in conclusion, using advanced de-aging, CGI, and digital touch-ups, the hunt for Gollum can bring these iconic characters back to life while respecting the actors' changes over time. It's also hard to say how much of the screen time will be filled with new characters played by new actors who might not need any de-aging or CGI. But the problem is that the main heart of this story does focus around the characters we already know and love, meaning that it's gonna be very hard to craft a genuine story without them, meaning that CGI and de-aging will be very important. But that brings this video to an end, a glimpse into the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for the hunt for Gollum. But what do you think? Can technology truly bring these beloved characters back to life, or are we in for another digital disaster? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of Middle-earth. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the orcs be with you.